Okay, so now what we're going to start thinking about is types of spreads that you can do. So a spread is basically how many cards you're going to be putting down and in what order. So a one card spread is literally just using one card. So for example, the most simple one card spread you might do is a yes or no. Am I going to win the lottery? No. Okay, so just asking a question and then getting a yes or no response. You're just using a one card spread. Now the next thing is if you think of in terms of the types of questions you're going to ask, or a client's going to ask you, you're going to select a spread that is suitable for that kind of a question. So for example, if they want to know the past, present and future, that would make a nice 3 card spread. 3 cards, one for the past, one for the present and one for the future. So if they explain to you or ask you what happened in the past, what happened in the present, what happens in the future, you might be able to say, in the past, you were, a renowned person, quite strong, able-bodied. Now you're getting a lot older, you're starting to lose the will, you're starting to wonder, am I really doing the right thing? What am I doing with my life? I'm very boring. My essence, my soul is caged. You see the kind of star within the cage? That's imagery that's coming out to me. What's happening in the future? Well, in the future, it's going to be better again. You're going to get better again. So think of 3 card spread might be answering a question as in past, present, future. Okay, so you put the first card would be the past, middle card the present, other card the future. Okay, that's one type of spread. Now it doesn't necessarily have to be past, present, future. It could be stages, beginning, middle, end. Remember when we did the exercises, we did kind of allude to doing past, present and future, or past, future, and then worked back how we got to that point. But essentially you're just creating or using a spread that's based on what the client wants to ask you. So when we had that one which was past, present and future, it makes sense that we draw 3 cards. If someone says what is going to happen over the next week, what you could do is draw 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For the simple reason that you've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then what you could do is take each card and give them a basic, what is going on the Monday, what is going on the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, so you're selecting the amount of cards breaking down the day. So for example, that might be 7 for a day. You could choose technically 30 for a month, every day of the month. But what you're most likely going to do is if there's 4 weeks in a month, you might say week 1, 2, 3, 4, and then read a little bit into what's going to happen in each of the weeks of the month. Of course, if a client says, okay, wait, stop, you said at the end of the month, that's quite good. Towards the end of the month, it's quite good. If they ask you, can you elaborate on a detail, well, you might decide to pull another card, you see, and add extra details to, and zoom in. It's kind of like zooming in. Like if you've got an iPad, you zoom in on a section. Well, if you've got the overriding month, and then you decide to pick one and zoom in on that section, you can add more cards to give more detail. Now, we're going to give you examples in later videos when we go more into answering specific types of questions, and we've got some scenarios and some examples, and you're going to do that. But at the moment it's just a case of thinking about how many cards you want to draw, or how many cards it makes sense to draw based on that question. So for example, if they want a blow-by-blow account of the day, you know, you might pick 12 for 12 hours, and you might go 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. And you might start going, okay, so at 1 o'clock, blah, 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 going round. And then when you say, okay, stop at 3 o'clock, stop at 3 o'clock, or stop at 11 o'clock, tell me more about that. What's going on there? And you could add more, expanding on that, okay? So depending on the type of spread you're gonna select, there are probably just as many different spreads as there are types of tarot decks out there, to be honest with you. People invent them every single day. There's only a couple that I think are useful. One would be the single card one, answering a question and then reading into that question. One would be the round the clock, which could be, you know, putting them out in stages. So for lots of time, you're thinking in terms of 7 days, 7 cards, 1 per each day. Or if it's a year, you may select 12 cards, so 1 symbolizing each month. Another good one, of course, is the this or that. So if a client says, should I stay with my husband, or should I go with a lover, this other man I'm seeing, what's going to happen? So you would say staying with the husband, going and moving to the lover, and then you might read into those things. So you might say, well, staying in with the husband is death. It's going to be the same thing over and over again. Nothing's going to change. You're going to be bored. Going with the lover, well, there might be a lot of stress and a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of things that you'd have to work for or work through, you know, and they might say, well, okay, give me more detail. Why will it be difficult going to the lover? And you might pick another card. You might say, well, you know, you're fairly well at home at the moment. You've got a fairly decent family life. You know, everything may be boring and stagnant, but at least you're stable. Whereas here, there's going to be topsy-turvy, leaving the husband to go to the lover. How's that going to affect? You know, you might want more and more detail. You might want to ask and delve in further and further. Same, they might go, well, okay, so if I do stay with the lover, what does that hold for me? You might expand upon that. More upset, you know? Again, staying with them. They might ask you questions and you can expand and pick another card, or just read into more. The more cards you have out in terms of the line, so if you think this is the lover's line, this is the husband's line, they'll merge together. All of these things will start to merge together. New meanings will come out. So for this, in terms of adding them together, I'm not just picking a card and asking another question to do with this. These cards are merging, much like we did in some of the other exercises where we've got 3 cards that merge together. These are 3 cards. These are 2 3 card readings at this point. They're just 2 different readings going on at one time. You've got the should I do this route, should I do that route. You know, another one would be should I take the job opportunity, for example, that's being given to me, or shall I stay in my current job? So if I shuffle the deck and the client says, well, I need to know what's going to happen. What's going to happen if I take the job opportunity that's been offered to me? What's going to happen if I stay at my current job? And you could read into that. The new job opportunity is going to take a lot of retraining. It's going to be a little bit complicated, a bit topsy-turvy. You're going to be here, there and everywhere trying to catch up, moving to a different job, a different, say, office or something like that. Whereas this one, okay, you may feel like you're working and constantly begging for money, and that you're not really getting a lot of job satisfaction, and that your boss just really treats you, you know, it's one of those things where you don't really like the job but you're just doing it for the money. He sees you as a slave that works paycheck to paycheck. So, you know, it's one of those things. So anyway, spreads is one of those things where you've really just got to apply the appropriate spread technique to the type of question that you're being asked. You might use more than one spread. In terms of how clients or how psychics and that charge, they'll normally charge, say, a certain amount for a free card reading. So in terms of what spread they would use, they may decide, if I'm doing a Celtic cross or if I'm doing a big spread, that's going to take longer for me to get through. Therefore, what I might do is charge more money for that. Now, the way I teach is normally, if you are charging money for your readings, you should charge per amount of time. So that enables you to think, well, if the client asks me this and I'm feeling I should go in this direction, you just go in that direction. You're not worried about, you know, oh, well, I suppose they only have paid for a free card reading, but actually I really want to do this now. You know, it's one of those things. And at the end of the day, they should be paying for what you're worth. And if you charge by half an hour or what have you, or an hourly, or even minute by minute, if you do like online things, then the client can stop at any time. So if the hour's up, or if they've spent X amount of minutes, then they're gonna say, okay, that's all right. If they want to add more, then you can just say, okay, you want to go for another 20 minutes, or, you know, they can choose then when you're gonna stop. So it's a lot easier. But anyway, spread work, what we've got to kind of do now is we're going to do one more exercise, and then we're just going to focus on framing things in the context of questions that a client might ask, and then the approach we might take. So there's a couple of little tricks and tips that I want you to learn, because doing readings for yourself and then doing readings for someone else and then doing readings for someone who's paying you are all different things. They are very, very different. So the last exercise will be on the next video, and it is going to be fairly simple. And then after that, all of the videos we will be applying and imagining that we've got scenarios and clients, and then you're going to see how we might tackle that. Okay, so if you're ready and you get the gist of what's going on, then go on to the next video.